Right then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy, back with another update. We're gonna speak 100 million in 1 week to be spent by Arsenal. That is according to Sky Sport, with AOUAR targeted after Ben White. That is according to Sky. We're gonna get into that, but what is more interesting still is the fact that Fabrizio has come out after a lot of talk, on Manuel Locatelli today. He has actually come out and cleared the situation. He said this guy is an Italian man like him, so he needs to clear the situation and whatever is happening around the Manuel Locatelli deal. So he's saying, as Fabrizio, we're gonna get a clip. We're gonna watch a clip from Fabrizio Romano. So if you didn't know Fabrizio, today you're gonna watch him on the channel. So you're gonna watch it. We're gonna get a clip. I know many of you know Fabrizio, but he's been speaking about Manuel Locatelli, and he said that Arsenal look at him as the perfect Premier League midfielder. They look at him as the perfect target, and they look at him as the perfect as the perfect man for the project they are building in the midfield. They will wait for Sassuolo and Juventus to get in whatever kind of discussions. If they fail, if they, in brackets Juve, fail, then Arsenal will actually come in with an official offer and bid to get Manuel Locatelli out of Italy. What he makes very clear is the sentences and statements that were stated by Gianluigi Di Marzio in the morning are not true. He says the player has not rejected Arsenal. The player has not actually closed doors to Arsenal at the moment. He's prioritizing a move to Juve, but he's still looking at Arsenal as you say a getaway plan, like an escape plan. So we are Locatelli's escape plan. That is according to Fabrizio. You're gonna listen in from him, and of course we are gonna discuss the report from Sky that Arsenal are gonna actually spend 100 million pounds in the coming week with AOUAR set to follow Ben White. Of course, I've talked about that. We're gonna get into that. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you've turned on the notification bell. Let us listen from Fabrizio, and then I'm gonna come back and discuss the 100 million pounds that Arsenal could be set to spend in the coming 7 days, starting with AOUAR.
What's happening? That Locatelli priorities Juventus, but Sassuolo know about Arsenal serious interest. Arsenal are prepared to offer around 40 million euro for Manuel Locatelli. Sassuolo know that Arsenal are ready to do what they want to sign Locatelli, but Arsenal are always respecting Locatelli's decision to join Juventus. So Arsenal are waiting. The strategy from Arsenal is we wait, we are prepared to pay if the deal will collapse with Juventus. But at the moment we are just waiting because we know that the player wants to go to Juventus. So it's up to Locatelli and it's up to Juventus now. Arsenal are waiting. They are prepared to join the race. They are prepared to make this kind of bid, an important bid around 40 million euro, what Sassuolo are asking for Locatelli. But Juventus are still front runners because they have the agreement with the player and they have Locatelli pushing to join Juventus. Let me clarify that Locatelli is not refusing Arsenal. He's not turning down the opportunity of joining Arsenal. He's just giving his priority to Juventus, and he would love to join Juventus to play Champions League, and he is a Juventus fan, and he is Italian, so it's something normal, I would say. But he's not giving his only choice to Juventus. So he's saying, I want to go to Juventus, and I want to give priority to Juventus. This is the position from the player. Let's see what happens between the two clubs, because there will be another meeting. Juventus and Sassuolo have strong relationship, so maybe the next days they can find a solution. Locatelli is waiting and hoping to go to Juventus, but Arsenal are still there, and they are interested, and they are waiting, and they want Locatelli, as they consider him as the perfect midfielder for Premier League football. I'm really curious to see what happens because I like this player, guys. I think he would be perfect for Juventus because they need this kind of midfielder, and Allegri is fantastic to give value to this kind of players. But also Arsenal are really interested, and I would be really curious to see him in the Premier League because also by the physical point of view, he'll be perfect. He has everything to play in the Premier League. He's talented, he's so young.
Right, that is Fabrizio Romano speaking about the Manuel Locatelli situation, and I really can't add more than that. When it comes to Fabrizio, I've told you he's the best at transfers, the best transfer journalist, the best post journalist when it comes to transfers. Yeah, he's Italian, and you can see when he speaks about Manuel Locatelli and Juve, and he tries to show you that the perfect destination of the player is Juve. But one of the things, if you watch that interview in full, and you can check it out on his channel, is called Fabrizio Romano on Twitch, and Fabrizio Romano on Twitter, and Fabrizio Romano on Instagram, and Fabrizio Romano on YouTube. So if you check out that interview in full, one of the things it tells you is so clear that the perfect move for the player should be Juventus, and Juve needs such kind of a midfielder. Despite the fact that they have financial issues, despite the fact that they have a lot of problems financially, it's just a perfect marriage between Locatelli and Juve. But we will get to know what actually happens from the next meeting scheduled between Sassuolo and Juve. Now now apart from Manuel Locatelli, still speaking big updates from Arsenal and big updates from big media houses. Sky Sport is saying Arsenal is actually prepared to spend almost 100 million pounds in the coming week. Now, to make it very clear, Mikel Arteta said he expects some new faces. Many reports have come out this week, and they have indicated, and we shall speak about that tomorrow. In the afternoon. Many reports coming out and reporting that Arsenal expects to bring in 7 new signings. That is confirmed. 7 new signings are heading to the Emirates Stadium in this summer. So there's a lot to speak about. There's a lot to talk about, especially if you think, if you're thinking through, through the angles of Arsenal now progressing to do the bigger deals, because at this point in time, I don't expect Arsenal to bring in a backup for what? I think we're loaded in terms of defense now. We are loaded in terms of forwards. Now we've got to go into the midfield, and with midfield options, you don't actually you don't go small, you're going to go big. So Sky, what Sky actually reporting, and I need to do I need to really do understand much about this, because what they're saying is how some AOUAR could follow Ben White, because Arsenal are reportedly going to spend, or going on a 100 million spending spree, like Sky Sport have actually called it. So maybe in the next week, you have Ben White doing his medicals. After next week, that could be on Sunday or on Monday, because I think it could be on Monday or Tuesday when he does his medicals. That has also been confirmed. The date has been scheduled. I'll talk about that in a separate video, of course. But then you have the midfield now, I think, and the reason that's why I've used James Maddison on my thumbnail is so easy. I think if you think about, if you're talking about 100 million now, to be spent in the coming week, it is James Maddison, it is AOUAR, because those are the two players now that Arsenal is focusing on. Of course, we have the Manuel Locatelli deal, like you've heard Fabrizio speaking about it. It is pretty in glass. It is really in glass. Fabrizio says this one is still available. Yes, Juve is there, Arsenal is there. There's a big battle. So we wait for that. But as we wait for that, Sky are claiming Arsenal are actually now looking at AOUAR as the next signing, and I did that story before, as the next signing to Ben White. Arsenal looking at him as the next priority after getting in Ben White, and they're saying it is 100 million. Obviously, if you have 20 million or 25 million pounds or euros, that cost that AOUAR will cost, then that means the 80 or the 75 million pounds will be placed on a bigger deal. Maybe that is James Maddison. Maybe that is James Maddison. No, I'm not 100% sure, because Sky have not actually put it right. They've just said Arsenal are very close to a very Arsenal will go on a spending spree of 100 million in next week. So there's a big question there: which kind of players or which options are gonna be dealt with next? AOUAR, yes, I would love to. I would love him to join Arsenal. He's one of my best midfielders in the world. But again, he doesn't cost 100 million. He doesn't actually. Maybe if it was last summer, we could buy him for 100 million. But if it's 100 million, the Sky Sport are reporting, we have big updates coming on in this starting week. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you do not want to miss anything. We are at 27.5 thousand subscribers. very close to 28,000. So make sure you do smash the like on the video and do subscribe very fast. We should get to 28,000 subscribers, and by the end of the next week should be at 29 or 30, right? So make sure you do smash a like on the video, do subscribe to the channel. I'll speak to you in the next one. Do follow me on Twitter if you want the breaking news update. Many of you are asking me, Cossy, what is the update? Like I said, it is Twitter. If you hit my WhatsApp, it gets clogged. It really gets clogged, and I really can't handle it. But Twitter is okay. Make sure you do follow me on Twitter and raise your concerns there through replies. I'll be able to reply to you because the beautiful thing with Twitter is I'm gonna have one reply and I'll deal with so many needs, something that I really don't get with WhatsApp. So please do get me on Twitter, Instagram as well, Cossy19. Twitter, it is Cossy. My handle is Cossy, and of course Facebook. You can find me at Cossy's Arsenal Podcast. Speak to you very soon. I'm gonna leave this update. I'm gonna leave this video playing for Fabrizio Romano. If you've not watched it, he's been speaking about the Manuel Locatelli situation, and I'll speak to you very soon.
What's happening? That Locatelli priorities Juventus, but Sassuolo know about Arsenal serious interest. Arsenal are prepared to offer around 40 million euro for Manuel Locatelli. Sassuolo know that Arsenal are ready to do what they want to sign Locatelli, but Arsenal are always respecting Locatelli's decision to join Juventus. So Arsenal are waiting. The strategy from Arsenal is we wait, we are prepared to pay if the deal will collapse with Juventus. But at the moment we are just waiting because we know that the player wants to go to Juventus. So it's up to Locatelli and it's up to Juventus now. Arsenal are waiting. They are prepared to join the race. They are prepared to make this kind of bid, an important bid around 40 million euro, what Sassuolo are asking for Locatelli. But Juventus are still front runners because they have the agreement with the player and they have Locatelli pushing to join Juventus. Let me clarify that Locatelli is not refusing Arsenal. He's not turning down the opportunity of joining Arsenal. He's just giving his priority to Juventus, and he would love to join Juventus to play Champions League, and he is a Juventus fan, and he is Italian, so it's something normal, I would say. But he's not giving his only choice to Juventus. So he's saying, I want to go to Juventus, and I want to give priority to Juventus. This is the position from the player. Let's see what happens between the two clubs, because there will be another meeting. Juventus and Sassuolo have strong relationship, so maybe in the next days they can find a solution. Locatelli is waiting and hoping to go to Juventus, but Arsenal are still there, and they are interested, and they are waiting, and they want Locatelli, as they consider him as the perfect midfielder for Premier League football. I'm really curious to see what happens because I like this player, guys. I think he would be perfect for Juventus because they need this kind of midfielder, and Allegri is fantastic to give value to this kind of players. But also Arsenal are really interested, and I would be really curious to see him in the Premier League because also by the physical point of view, he'll be perfect. He has everything to play in the Premier League. He is talented, he is so young,